we don't choose. They say we don't choose friends, but we choose. We don't choose our family, but we can
choose our friends.
We all those things.
Yeah.
Like the men we have in our lives. When we have issues, somehow we solve them.
Yes.
Somehow there's always going to be a solution.
Yeah.
With our families, there's no way we'll kosana. Somehow things just come back together. Why is it that when we kosana as girlfriends, that's it? Like everyone goes their own way. Then it's a wrap. Most of the time it's a wrap. And for those people who have gotten back together, there are very, very few people.
Yeah.
It's usually that, and we move on to the next one. You realize that this is life, and life is about us not understanding each other all the time, and having differences and having conflicts. So then why don't we just, instead of, even though a person may not be, the type of person that you want to define, as long as there was something that brought you guys together, then I don't see why you cannot always have a solution to such things.
Hi guys, so welcome to yet another fun episode of the Art, Heart and Heart podcast. It's always a pleasure to be here, and we're so happy to have you here. So please, Karibia, come on in, join us. We need you here. We are here for us to be here together. I don't know if that makes sense anyway. So this is your girl Vivian, and I'm so happy to be here, as I said. And with me, I have two gorgeous ladies. Like lovely. Yani you are madam wanajieza. The thing I love most about this podcast is how it brings women in different phases and seasons of life, and we're able to accommodate each other.
I love it.
Love it. So here, sisi leo ni my girls. My girls, kama unajua ku understand my boys, leo ni my girls. Yeah. So on the left, I have the ever gorgeous Lydia Ngina. And Lydia, you can say something about this Magaos as you introduce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm excited to have this topic today. So my name is Lydia Ngina. I am a life coach, an author, and a public speaker. But really who I am essentially is a midwife for people and ideas. And I'm also an encourager and an optimist. So that's how I would define myself.
Encourager, optimist. There's something in the book you say you're a friend.
Yes, as well. Yes. And I'm a friend.
Yes. Leonie Garos. Girls. And on my right is a very gorgeous.
I know.
Superwoman, super gorgeous, African looking vibes. Scully, please introduce yourself.
I like your psych. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I just like everything that is happening here. Can I come here more often?
Yes, please.
Can I really? Are you sure?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, Asante. I will just. My name is Scully Cheruto. Scully, not Scully. I don't know why I said Scully. Scully Cheruto. And I am. What am I? I am an actor. I am a lot of things. I'm a child of God first.
Love it.
And then I am a lot of other things. Oh God, I think if I start, I won't stop. But let me just say I'm an actor. I act comedy. I act drama. I act several things. I am also a producer. I have a company. I produce TV shows. I am a farmer. Oh my God. I am a content creator. I am a businesswoman. Nitaendelea tu mpaka kesho. Like there's too much going on in my life, but yeah.
Yes, but see, tunasema we are what did Nani say? Ndanu, about the different ways in which God has raised us to do different things.
Yeah.
And that's a thing, because sometimes you feel like I only have to do this one thing, but no, we have so many different gifts and strength in so many spaces. So uko tu sawa, madam. I'm so happy that you're joining us.
Thank you so much.
This is such a nice space and a safe space, and I mean, we are actually real friends.
Yeah.
And so we
go off camera.
Yes, off camera.
Yes.
And so we hang out and we chill and we talk deep things. Sometimes we sleep, we eat, we drink tea. Some people drink coffee. Tunaenda sleepover.
For sure.
Kwangu.
For sure.
The thing I like about going to Scully's house for sleepover is Scully cooks. Okay, me, not that I don't cook. someone did something like, Mom,
I don't
do
think
you
so.
cook? Yeah, yani my cooking lazima itoke na upako. Hatujafika hapo pali ni natural. Saa zingine ina kuvurutwa.
But of recent days umekuja hata I think now you're kidogo tu ni overtake. Kidogo. You're coming na mimi sipendi kushindwa.
I love that. So guys, today I just feel like we need to talk about female friendships.
Yeah.
Because those dynamics there is a lot. Yeah. And just understanding firstly what friendship looks like, or what it should look like, or what it is, and is it something that needs to be there ni ya leo, then leo ikiisha hiyo beshte iishe, is it something, what is true friendship first?
Yeah.
I think Pastor you can start.
So this is an interesting topic. I absolutely love it. But I think it's also being aware that there are seasons in life. So there are those who will come into a particular season and then they leave. And there are those who then stay the longer course. They stay for a longer course. So the trick is identifying who is here to do life together for a long haul. And then identifying those who are just here for this particular phase and then they're out. So there is an ebb and flow of relationships. But I think if the foundation is love, genuine love for God and for each other, then that works. One of the things that I made a very conscious decision growing up in high school was I cannot have a friendship that our common thread is gossip and malice or distrust. That is not going to work for me. Yes, yes, that's not going to work for me. Hey, bana.
Okay, but it's chama zote, but it's like a thing.
It's like a thing. And in fact, that's one of the things I didn't get to join a chama yet. It's just juicy. Just recently that I got an investment group and stuff.
Yeah.
But before that, I was like, mi sifanyi mshene. I'm out. So part of the thing is again, values of my friendship. So friendship is coming from my values. And if we come and we share the same values, then we can actually be friends because then we inspire one another to grow. And then the test of forgiveness comes in. The test of hard conversations comes in. And so now those are the ones that determine, are you going to stay or leave? So, that kind of... Yeah.
Ndio Pastel anaanzishanga na deep stuff.
Sasa niseme. Umemaliza.
I know, right? No, but I totally get it, especially when you talked about like how the dynamics of the friendship are, and also understanding who you are in order to understand what friendships align with who you are.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think just call it, we are living in an era whereby, as in whatever goes on social media or everywhere is chungana na marafiki, Nairobi hakuna urafiki, Nairobi sijui ni vitu tu, unajua, Nairobi tu ni tuko hapa, tusaidiana vile tutasaidiana, kila mtu wa move. So that there's a lot of negativity towards the prospects of real friendships.
Yeah.
So I don't know how your experience has been in that space. Is it something you agree with, or you just feel like we are the ones, maybe we need better understanding? I don't know.
No, I think you're right, because that's actually something that happens a lot, where friends, in fact, a lot of girls, or women, they tell you that mi niko tu na mabishte machali. Mabishte madem, nini always iko na mabishte, because of all these things, people bite each other, people gossip towards each other, those things that happen every now and then, they make you lose confidence and trust in having female relationships and female friendships. But I think it's not always like that. I mean, I think for me, in fact, like even our friendship, I have really, really grown, because all of us have had our times, our issues, our things. Yeah. But then, and they come, they're usually there for a reason.
Yes.
And I don't see why, as friends, when we are having our problems, why we can't solve them. Because if you look at people like, they say we don't choose friends, but we choose, we don't choose our family, but we can choose our friends and all those things. Yeah. Like the men we have in our lives. When we have issues, somehow we solve them. Yes. Somehow there's always going to be a solution. Yeah. With our families, there's no way we'll kosana. Somehow things just come back together. Why is it that when we kosana as girlfriends, that's it? Like everyone goes their own way, it's a wrap. Most of the time it's a wrap. And for those people who have gotten back together, there are very, very few people.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually that, and you move on to the next one. You realize that this is life, and life is about us not understanding each other all the time and having differences and having conflicts. So then why don't we just, instead of, even though a person may not be, you know, the type of person that you want to define, as long as there was something that brought you guys together, then I don't see why you cannot always have a solution to such things. So I think that's one. And I also think that friendship, like you're saying, are seasonal and they are defined differently, right? Like there are friendships that, like my friendship with you and my friendship with you are different. Like there are things that I do with you that I don't do with you. And, you know, for example, there are friends that I call friends. I don't talk to them for a whole 3 months. But you and I can talk every single day. But you guys are still my friends. Even it's possible that the person I talk to every 2 weeks or 1 month is more or my friend than you are. So, you know, it doesn't, every friendship has
its own dynamics.
And I like that because there's meaning to the friendship. So it's not that you bested too because life has happened. We're in the same high school campus. There's, especially when you're aware of destiny. When you're aware that there's something bigger about me, then it begins to shape your friendships as well. You need people who see the world as you see necessarily, not necessarily so that you can argue, but you're on the same course. So let me just say, let me rephrase that and say that you're on the same course. You may be in your own personality space, but we know that the bigger picture, this is where we are heading as a friendship. This is where our friendship is because we have the same core values.
Yeah. You know, the thing about friendship, I think in the season I'm in, especially as I am renewing my faith and getting to know myself better and getting to understand, you know, what path I should be taking and just really showing up as a child of God. So I did my first therapy class. I think I told you, did I?
Yes.
And you know, the therapist asked me who I am. So I talked about a lot of things. I'm a musician, and he said, "You've said what you do."
Right. Also.
Now, who are you? You know, and of course now I like how Scholar introduced because it starts with I'm a child of God. Right? So showing up as a child of God, understanding that there's a childlike nature within you and you don't need to show up like up in arms, right? And understanding the friendships that speak to you based on who you are, right? Because like for me, I mean, Scully tells me, hey, Vivian, you can talk, madam, you know, but I also think she can talk.
Once she's safe, once she's and she can
perhaps
but then because of how I am deep and you know I like processing things and you know I like doing like different things and I'm just a very open person so I realized that I also need to have friendships that have room for that you know, because not so many people are deep. Most people, you know,
depth, shallow.
Shallow. And, you know, there's that thing where you want to fit in. Because in this season, like, all my friendships fell off. And
not
it was
all,
like...
I'm still here.
You're still here.
You know, girl. I don't know what you
girl. Like, in the season before this season, let me say a huge chunk. You know, of people I would surround myself with, like just, you know, they fell off and there were so many dynamics, but the reality is those ones. And when I was doing an assessment, I realized that I was not in my full element as a child of God. And then it's like what Ndanu was saying, and she said, there are no parasitic relationships in the kingdom. You know, parasitic relationships, like mtu wako hapo tick. Our dog usually has ticks, by the way. Weird diversion. So like a tick, you know, so they're just there to tick and to tick and to tick. And we've had that conversation. And I was like, wow. Because I'm not seeing them, because I'm like, it's a people pleasing, which is a traumatic response, where you feel like you have to do in order to be accepted. So you open your house to people, you open your space to people, you want to invite people. So you're not letting God tell you who needs to be there then. So when he chomoas them, you feel like there's an injustice, but excuse me, they were never meant to be there.
Yeah.
You know? And it's in all spaces, even in the church spaces, quote unquote.
Yeah.
We still need to listen to God. Just because we go to church together doesn't mean we are friends.
No. It can't be the basis. It's
Absolutely
a lie.
not.
But there are many people who are like, ukitaka bwana, ukitaka rafiki enda kanisa.
Not necessarily.
See, people say that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily true.
Of course not. No.
So then that begs to ask, where do right friendships, where do they come from? And how
a story is coming to mind. So I've taken forever to figure out who my friends as well. That journey has been very tough.
Right.
Primarily because of the gift of pastoral work. So I'm constantly giving. And I didn't realize that what I was actually waiting for is someone who will see me and invite me into their world.
Wow.
That was... And once you invited me into your world, we became friends. Because it was that giving, going, praying for all that dynamics. And I didn't have friends for the longest time.
Wow.
So the ones I'm pastoring, because I enjoy one-on-one, we are deep. I mean, we'll talk and it's mainly about you. It's not about me.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's you who's telling me stuff.
Yeah.
That is so horrible.
No one is seeing me and no one is calling me out. So with this friendship is what began to settle, because it was even unfamiliar for me.
Yeah.
What began to settle with our friendship is that you began to call me and ask me how I am doing.
Yes.
Like, oh, okay. So then I began to open up that space and trust and stop into this unfamiliar space that you will not just see me as a pastor, you will see me as a friend, as a girlfriend. Of course, we'll talk about pastoral manenos.
Yeah.
And I still have a responsibility even over you as a pastor.
Yeah.
I still have that responsibility.
Oh, wow.
So it's to sometimes just, and it's on me, primarily it's on me to just let go and not come in and feel like I have to perform and be a pastor before you guys and not be a girl. It's my responsibility. I've had to work on me and realize these are my girls. Just be easy. Let it just be. Don't have to put on that pastoral cloak. And now, Susan, I'm controlling, trying to make you perform and, that this thing has to be perfect. I'm like, no. So now I'm learning and I've learned to show up, even now with the pastoral space, to show up authentically without trying to perform. So working out of that place of performance and show up authentically. And if we get along, then fantastic. If we don't, then, I've served my assignment there. I've done what I needed to do. I've given, but
Deep, man.
goodbye.
That's so deep.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a bit different for me, because I haven't had that problem per se, but then people around me have seen it, right? Like people around me, my sisters, maybe some of my friends are telling me, these people are just using you.
Yeah.
They are taking stuff away from you. Wachana now. Like, and they will come up with stuff, they'll point things, nini. But on the other side, for me, I don't see that. And this is just me, because I experience it very different with other people. For me, I give and I feel like this is why I'm here. Probably I am the one who's supposed to do that. And I actually enjoy it. In fact, years back, maybe 5-10 years back, it was a different story, because also I was like, I'm only hanging out with people who are adding to my life, who are giving me, who are about
hang out with the lions.
Like, you're there to take.
Yes, I exactly. Always taking. So if you're not giving, then I wasn't going to have. But now, I understand life better. Of course, I have a bigger understanding of how the power of giving. And so for me, even when I get the privilege of just giving and being there for someone, I'm not perfect. I don't do it all the time, but it's becoming natural for me, and I do it every day. So every time I get that opportunity, I just want to, and I don't think so much about what you're going to give me.
Yes.
So as much as, people say that it has to be a give and take, yes, but I believe that it's different, because there are people who will give me without necessarily being you, So if I give you, I'm just giving it to you because you're my friend, or because I want to, and because I know the power of giving and the principle, and because it makes me happy. So if this other person does give me or doesn't, it's okay.
Yes,
it's okay, really.
yes.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a fantastic perspective.
And that's also because we're having this discussion. So first, Scully and I have been friends since I started I think my music career,
Yes,
isn't it?
immediately.
So that's 2016, I'm guessing. And I remember when I was doing a shoot, guys, we have stories for days. Kambia skoli, nimepata venue.
Masiri zote.
Ngoja acha niwaambie, nimepata venue, but hatuna food. Venue juni kwa go down. By the way, guys, please just love us because hatuna nguo. Nilienda kununua nguo Ngong Road Ngara usiku ndio nipate cheap. Kibeti karibu ingolewe. Now for us. So Scully was like, okay, I'll buy chips. So we are 2 young girls. We are managing a shoot. But Scully was more experienced because she'd been in production. But unajua hiyo ni space like we are not so familiar with and all those things. And our trajectory kept coming. Like I was telling you, we went to a big hotel and then we talked to that Mzungu and we convinced him to give us them.
Yeah.
And Scully shot her thing. I did my event there. Like we were just small girls but with big ambitions.
Yeah.
Without knowledge.
Yeah.
Hata sijui ni Kiswahili gani ilikuwa inafanya watu watupe. I don't know because there was no substance from me. I can assure you. And I don't even know. It was just something funny.
Yeah.
But that's God's grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he loves you and he is even taking care of you and you don't even know who you are. Yeah. And when you even talk about your ability to give, because I've been there with you for so many years and I've seen how you give. And it's so natural for Scully, and sometimes I'll tell her, but I realize, no, it's who she is. And the thing is just to be able to see, like, for me as a friend, to love her for her.
Yes.
Yeah? So that I compensate for the people who are just taking for themselves. Because those are the ones who show up more. But for me, when I show up, because we've been there when my daughter was small. Then her daughter now is small and she's my kabadi, but she has fire manenos. But that's just a brief description of sometimes what it means to step into a space for a friend.
Yeah.
Na kuna msemo inasema rafiki kwa dhiki na faraja. And Kanairo, dhiki na faraja is hot fire.
Yeah.
Because dhiki ni wewe.
Yeah, faraja ni sisi.
Faraja ni I like that. Faraja ni sisi. So, I mean, how do we encourage people also to understand how to grow their relationships, how to forgive each other, how to love each other? You know, like when the therapist was here, she was saying, you know, it's about what are the things that we are encouraging in that space? Yeah. So how do we encourage friendships?
I think
zenye zinaweza stand the test of time.
To stand the test of time, you have to be self-aware of your own toxicity first of all. Because sometimes we come in and we bring our own toxicity in the
because relationships and friendships reveal.
Yes, they reveal. They don't necessarily, they reveal stuff that you've not, they are mirrors really. Essentially they are mirrors. So there's that journey where you're constantly working on yourself and being aware of your own toxicity and embracing both your strengths and your managing your toxicity, but also allowing your authentic self to show up. So it begins with that personal responsibility and self-awareness.
Yeah.
So that now by the time I'm showing up in this community, I'm showing up as a healthier version than I was the previous day. You know, I'm healthier today than I was, than I was 2 weeks ago, because I am constantly adjusting and growing and aware of myself. So that's part of the things that have sustained and kept me is to manage those spaces.
Right.
Yeah.
I on my side, I think probably because this is something I have noticed with people, and I think I told you sometime, people tend to think that they're the ones, okay, naturally as human beings, we always don't see our faults. We always see that the other person is always wrong.
Yes.
Right? And that is a big problem, because until we realize that that is exactly how we are as human beings, then you won't see yourself. You'll always see that Pastor Lydia is one who has problems,
my issues.
you know. So until you realize, you know, because even talking to some of my friends, I hear everyone saying, Mimi, donapeana. Mimi, donapeana. Mimi, no one does anything for me. I'm the one who's always doing things. And I realize there's something wrong with that statement.
Yeah.
Also, after I actually learned that, by the way, we don't see ourselves, you always see the other person.
Yes.
So what we need to do as people is to just get out of ourselves fast. Kabisa, na ujiangalie, ujaribu kuangalia. Even if you have to write things down in detail, ni nini hiyo nasema napeana. You know, it can be something really small. You think because I've seen that a lot, and it's very surprising how people always think that they have no problem. It's always the other person who has a problem.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I can give an example of you, because there were times I was like, Vivian has kuna issue ako nayo, you know. And then months later, or probably some time passes, and I go through the same problem, and then I realize, oh my God, the same thing, and I can't even handle it, and I'm the one who's doing the same thing that I was judging her for. And you see, that's part of maybe why friendships are there. That's how we teach each other, we learn from each other, and that's why that thing where you said kwadikina, like
Faraja.
we should just never give up on each other.
Yes.
Life is hard. We all go through things and we koseana, but why can't we forgive each other? Why can't we just be human and just be remorseful and just talk about our things, put everything on the table? There's nothing that cannot be solved.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. And I like that perspective, acknowledging your own brokenness. Sometimes you're not even aware. We don't think we are broken. We think we're altogether lovely. And you know, only to discover kuna mavitu ndani yako. There's stuff inside of you that you need to acknowledge, one, address it with your God, but also now begin to acknowledge even in your friendships how you showed up and say, by the way, I'm so sorry. This is how, when I was, you triggered me in a bad way. So I'm sincere. So even the languaging around friendship and the communication of, I forgive you, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And I liked about the whole judgment issue, because now I'm able to see the log in your thing, but I can't see my own log. And that makes me judge you and feel like, mimi ningekuwa kama yeye singefanya hivyo. Like what?
Hauko kwanza kama yeye. Actually is a completely different person from you.
You respond very differently. So tafadhali, just making room for someone else's mistake. Blunder, making room and showing up, that knowing that you're not perfect and you're not perfect, but making room for that space and saying, you know what, it doesn't matter. I've already chosen you as my friend, and there's part of you that I resonate with, there's core value. So we'll just flow. The rest is
I think and loving each other in the messes.
Yes.
You know, not waiting for the mess to end, because some of these messes, they need love.
Yes.
In fact, the mess needs love for it to turn into a message.
Yes.
I completely agree.
Yeah, because sometimes they're like, ana deal, wacha niachane na yeye. It's like how we say, I know I'm dealing with so much, I don't even have time to pray. That's the exact time that you should be praying. Because even the Bible talks about God is the ultimate comforter.
Yes.
So if you're looking for some sort of comfort.
I know, right?
Preach.
Yeah.
Going in.
No. You're looking for some type of comfort, then that's the time to talk to God.
Yeah.
And, you know, the reason why I love our friendship so much is because we are all in different levels of life, and we are all dealing with different things, but we're able to find spaces to empathize and accommodate, and even more importantly, want the best for each other.
Yes.
So the intention, right?
Yes,
because, you know, we also have different ways how we deal with difficult things. Others go mute.
Yes.
Others go on a rant. Others disappear for 3 months. Can't deal.
They shut.
So understanding who your friend is. So like, I know for me, I have this thing whereby I can really, you know, I can talk or I can what, but also I'm in a space where I've been processing and I'm processing, and the podcast is part of my processing, you know, and when I'm processing, I'm like, I already had a conversation with Pastor L 2 days ago. This thing I need to process first by myself. Or I talked with Scully and I feel like I also need to process this thing alone. But when Scully is having something and we're talking and I can tell, I'm able to know, I know I'm having some things, but in this space, I need to show up for my friend.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we wait for our lives to be perfect in order to show up for others. But look at how God works. Kwanza saa when you're wounded, that's when you have the capacity to heal so many people. Because the levels of your empathy, kindness, compassion, ziko peak.
Yeah.
Because uko kwa moto. Unaona? So how, because there's that also, people think that friendships is when, I have $1 million, you have another $1 million, and you have $7 million. So now we are buddies, we are rolling.
Yes, we got rates.
But really, it's like you're in the pit.
Yes.
And your friend is in another pit. So you're pulling your friend out from the pit first as you're dealing with your own pit. And I think those are the dynamics of friendships that sometimes we don't pay attention to. And so they also work against us.
Yeah.
Because you see, you don't get reprieve because you're also not, one of the ways that you get even to go through healing is through serving.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's one of the ways because you realize, kumbe this life has things and has different facets and has different things that are working for different people differently. So I was saying, kama leo ni intervention. I mean, firstly, Scully, we're going to be having more and more of you here. So leo tunaweza kosa kuongea sana. So hizo conversations tutaendelea kuzisave for the next and the next one. But in that perspective of friendship, is there anything you feel like, even with our own friendships, like things that have grown you, things that have impacted you, things that have changed you, things that have made you look at just even the woman in a different way? Because I have, but yeah.
Oh, for sure. I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, I have grown a lot just having you guys as my friends. And like I said before, the things that you have experienced, for example, Vivian, I don't know why and how God works, someone said that, we're destiny helpers. And I keep believing that because a lot of things that you experience, I end up experiencing. And usually at that point in time, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're doing them. And I'm honestly judging you. Nowadays, I have grown beyond that. And I can never, I don't even know what to do. I can't, because it has happened so many times. Because there's so many things that happen in life. But why do I have you experience and then immediately I experience? Inaisha hivyo na learn. Una experience, and even vice versa. I think there are things that I've also experienced and you experience, and it's like, guy, okay, Scully, now I understand why. It's like, God, what are you doing? So for me, this is very valuable friendship for me. And, we've had our things, we've had our fights, we've had our differences, nini. But we made it somehow. How many years? And we made it. And I don't think it's gonna stop for me. No. I think it's something that will go for the rest of our lives.
I get it.
And for you, for example, I really honestly admire who you are as a person. And I try to be like you one way or the other. Because you don't judge. Like that thing you're saying about gossiping. Don't know what that is. Like sometimes I come to learn things later about someone and you knew about that same thing all along. No kuniambia na shindo unibeshte mgani. It's none of my business. I'm like, unajua, sometimes you are washed to talk about things. Because, we just want to talk about things.
Yeah.
Gossip is something else that you guys need to talk about because there has to be a definition of what just talking is. And anyway, that's a different story. But I really admire just stuff like that and how honestly you just love people for who they are. You don't even judge them at all. And so just looking at you and the things that happen, I am like, God, wow, how did I get you as a friend? And I think we just need to be hanging out more because, why not?
Yeah. And I think that, when you said about Pastor El, it's so real because Pastor El has this thing where she's sort of like she's able to almost accommodate each and every kind of person, and then what for me also stands out, and I don't know if I've told her this before, is she portrays who a believer should be. There are people who are believers,
of course,
lakini mienendo yao
kabisa
kunahitaji patanisho.
Gosh, that is so true.
But Pastor Ella, when it comes to humility,
I really want to emphasize
love,
Yeah.
kindness,
You're a real definition
patience,
of a believer. Yeah.
spiritual maturity, inner strength, personal responsibility, keeping your word. Even sometimes, because some of us are strong-willed, so sometimes she's like, hey Vivian, I've been trying to reach you. Vivian ako mitini huko, anajaribu kudili na life yake na njia zake. Yeah, so even as we conclude, because I feel like we need to have this conversation more and more.
Yeah,
because I feel like there's something that's happening with a woman in the time that we're living in. And I know I say that so many times, but there's so much truth to it.
Yeah.
There's a way the woman is being raised to show up in a godly manner, but also with strength and courage, and to just go for it.
Yeah.
Unajua, not waiting to be saved, Cinderella story.
Damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress is like, what is my desire? Let me present it to God, and then let me start collaborating. Yeah. So I feel like the dynamics between women need to elevate as well. Na kuna zenye zime elevate hapa na pale, lakini zingine bado ziko huku chini. Also because as women we have baggage sometimes. Your identity is in what house you lived in Karioko 19 years ago. You're just kona vitu ulibeba, So as we summarize, because I think that's the last thing I'm going to say about that. Just chiming into it and talking about, even as we deal with our things, how you would encourage people to be proper friends, know, with our, but we are still overcoming the vice of gossip. No, we are not gossipers.
We talk about things here and there.
Here and there.
That line.
We are justifying ourselves.
It could be, but one of the things as well, what I would say is the whole idea of judgment. I show up to call out the best in people, because I realize our community doesn't even allow, our families don't call out the best in us. So I want to be that person who will call out the best and allow your strength.
You so much.
Your strength to emerge in a safe space, and so that you can then impact your influence, your space of influence, and be a better human for it. So
dope stuff. Guys, let's be good friends.
Forever.
Forever. Though watu wa kuenda mitini bado tunawapenda. Thanks guys.
Ciao.
Bye.